Hello, and thank you so much for joining us here for another show on Peeperz Radio. Our guest today is an extremely popular MILF adult star, swinger, and fitness competitor. Everybody happy to have Janet Mason as our guest. We will touch upon the following topics, to name only a few: swingers, size queens, Lexington Steele, silly schoolgirls, lifestyle lounge, foot nights, bodybuilding, her bucket list, and I will erect a 10-foot replica of Lexington Steele's junk out of bologna and use it for a carving station at the San Diego Chamber of Commerce dinner. Incidentally, they all thought it was scale anyhow. All this stunning lack of proportion, debauchery, and so much more right here on Peeperz Radio.
Hello.
Hi, this is MB for CED on the radio with Janet Mason.
Yes, that's me.
Ah, thank goodness. How are you today, Janet?
Doing well, thank you, and thank you so much for having me on today.
Oh, it's a pleasure, believe me. Look, this interview is going to be kind of a little different than you've usually done, although it'll have the structure of the beginning, middle, and end. But I want to delve a little deeper into this, if it's okay. If I get into the red zone, just say get out of there, okay?
Oh, will do.
Okay. So I understand California. That's the seed, right? That's where you were born.
Yes.
Where in California?
In, like the Southern California. I've always kind of been vague on specifics.
Okay, but Southern California evokes something like surfer girl, volleyball girl, that kind of thing. Corvallis, that kind of high school. You had to be blonde and beautiful to get in. I get it. Okay. So now that I have the past, this is the same question everybody's ever asked you. I guess you're 17, 18, 19 years old. You're really aware of your sexuality, and you didn't get into the adult industry until like 2000, which is down the road. You made a conscious effort. So what the hell were you doing all those years before you got into this crazy, wacky business?
Right. Well, my originally my site went online in April 1998, and I had been living, just your typical average life.
Southern California girl.
Well, I moved around a lot. So, and then, did that thing, go to college and...
Wait, back up. Where'd you went to school. I don't care where you went to school. What was your criteria? What were you studying?
I was studying music.
Okay. Do you play instruments?
Piano.
Really? Do you have one handy right there? You can whip out a song for us? We have time. Go ahead.
No, I don't happen to have any keyboards available right now. But, I played piano from the time I was like 5, 6 years old.
Wow.
And all the way through.
Classical or something?
Yes.
Wow,
yes.
I could guess. So, professional? Did you ever do it like on stage in a show or something?
I have, I've performed, but I mean nothing, outside of recitals or juries for school.
Yeah. Do you keep up your chops?
I try to, but now, I've kept my manicure pretty long for a long time now, so.
That's a good one.
Kind of makes a little noise.
my nails don't work on the keyboards anymore.
Exactly.
I get it. So, okay, I'm going to guess. So you're on stage and you're just doing a recital and you walk off stage and some guy says, gosh, you're beautiful, most beautiful eyes, red hair, gorgeous complexion, come be in my porn movie. That's exactly how it started, right?
Yeah, right. No, actually, flash forward, I met my husband, and we knew we were meant to be, and after, a brief courtship, we were married. I was married at 22 years old.
Wow. And still to the same guy?
Yes.
Phew.
Yes.
That's a rarity right there.
I know, we are a very rare breed.
Well adjusted. Okay, so
yes.
So take me back now into 2000. You really start to appear here. I mean, you're working in movies with Wicked, but a lot of Janet Mason movies.
that's where, we started off as amateurs. It started off as a lifestyle for my husband and I.
Yeah.
The real deal. And I was always intrigued by interracial sex, and we started swinging with black guys, and I was really into very well-hung black guys.
It seems to be not a misnomer, I hear.
No, I am a tried and true size queen, for sure.
You even call yourself an exhibitionist as well as a swinger. How deep does this go into? I mean, you and your husband have a pretty open marriage, I guess.
Yes, we do. And I mean, the exhibitionism, I guess you could say, with me being in music and wanting to perform and be in front of people,
sure.
I've always kind of had that in me. And then, I've always, right. And, it just kind of has grown exponentially over the years with being comfortable with who I am and just being able to be myself and enjoy life.
Well, I can attest to that. I mean, I'm a fan. I think Girlfriends Films a couple of years ago, he did Mother-Daughter Exchange, worked for Elegant Angel, for Red Light District, Mama Knows Best. I mean, they're not all MILF films, but even with Girlfriends Films, a lot of lesbian programs. So it's any color, any guy, any girl, as long as you're attracted to them. What attracts you to the person?
Exactly. I like genuine people.
No phonies here, guys, girls. No phonies.
Right.
Yeah, won't get to first
place. That's why I think my site has been online as an amateur single model site for over 15 years now.
Yeah.
Is because, my husband and I, it's our real lifestyle. It's people that we meet and we get together, and my husband's right there filming all the action, and so there's no script or, silly setup or anything. It's just
as real reality as you can get. Huh?
Exactly. And then flash forward to 2008, after the site had already been online for 10 years, my first pro experience was with Girlfriends Films.
Yeah.
So I was really spoiled because they are one of the creme de la creme, companies to
top studio
have your first to have your first experience with that, those kinds of people.
Well, we were blown away. I mean, you walk onto a professional set, there's actually people here who really aren't drooling while you're doing your scene, and they're all running around doing it, getting the lights, the camera, everything together. Did you have a misnomer that somehow it was done in the back alley somewhere with a hit-and-run camera?
Well, coming from, the amateur side where, we basically would get together, meet, have a relationship with the guy already, and it's just me and, whoever it is that I'm enjoying that day.
Right.
And my husband, which is a very intimate thing, going into the pro world where, on some sets it's hair, makeup, wardrobe, and then you're taking photos and
well,
you don't even know who your talent is.
Well, not only that, you're playing a role now. You're not like, when you're doing your amateur, what we see is what we get. That's really you, just an extension. But when you're asked to play a role, you've got to read a script. You've got to become this character. Correct. How much of yourself did you draw into those characters? Because you did almost 200 films? How many did you do? You did, about 200 movies.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I did a lot in the short time that I spent out there. And again, I think it just comes from, and a lot of times I will have, a script, or you'll be on set and I'll give you a scenario. I try to make it me as much as possible. That way, I think it's more relatable for me. And granted, there's been a few scenes where
Now, have there ever been any scenes that, and I don't want to be crazy about this, draw you away from your husband, but have there been any scenes where you were really into the other person that you were working with? So much.
Oh my God.
No,
here we go. For years, of course, I'm an interracial and I'm a size queen, and I had seen this guy, Lexington Steele, online for, ages. Yeah, I just thought he was just like one of those unattainables. So he when I was out in LA for the 1 year patrolling my handed pro scene, he had hired me, and I was hired to do a scene with him. I was like a silly schoolgirl when I finally met Lexington Steele in person.
Was he kind of taken back by it?
You know what? I think, in the end, he was as equally attracted in person. I think, he had heard about me, and we finally met, and the chemistry was there. It was very much, yes. And, which is, another great thing is, we've gotten together many times since without, the pro cameras being around or just my husband filming it and sharing those real experiences with him on my site, janetexposed.com.
Uh-huh. This is the shameless part of the interview where you do give me all the .coms and the Twitters and how people, because one thing went to mind when you were talking earlier. So say I'm a hot guy, never happened, but say I'm a hot guy that's out there and I say, I got to be involved with this woman. And what do? Send a clip to a certain site or something? You say, oh, he looks hot, bring him in. And then we shoot a scene together? I mean, how's that work? Explain that. And how do I get to you?
Well, a lot of times, I have on my page a tab called, on janetexposed.com, there is a tab called Casting Calls. And if you go click on that tab, it tells you how things work. Because usually if you're not professional talent, you might be a little worried about being on camera for the first time. So it explains all those little things that all the hoops you have to jump through.
Is there a lot of qualifying? Because I know there's some giant 22-year-old stud out there who's saying, man, I'm better than anything that they've ever shot. How do I get on? I'm not answering any of these fargan little questions, man. Just here's my photo. Where do you want me?
Those get an automatic delete from the email.
Okay.
And we state that clearly on the page. There's actually on my fact page. There's even a question: can I be in a video with you? And I don't hold back. I tell you exactly what you need to do. That you need to be a gentleman and go through our protocol if you would like to meet with me and my husband. And if you can't, they're really simple instructions, and if you can't follow simple instructions, I probably don't want to meet you.
No, say he's past muster, and it's time to invite him over to the little shooting house. You've done that, obviously. Give me an experience of how that worked out.
Oh, gosh. We've got over 15 years of working out with my fans.
What's the most bizarre experience?
As far as, content-wise, or...
No, let's go with funny. Let's say you got through the whole experience of getting to you, and now the guy shows up, and what happened?
Oh, well, there are some things that don't ever, show up on they're filmed, but they don't show up because, again, some people get a little stage fright or a little starstruck.
Just not as excited as they should be, huh?
Well, and maybe just so excited that, they can't get it together.
I see. So, foot night party, what is that?
Well, foot night parties are, there's generally, it's set up, I usually go to the Foot Night International parties, and that's set up by a guy who runs those parties, and you go, and discriminating foot fetishists will come, and you spend time with them, and they worship your feet.
Don't laugh. It's serious.
No, it's very serious.
I read something about an AFF or lifestyle lounge. I didn't get that at all. What is that?
AFF is adult friend finder, which we don't really use that one very much anymore. We much prefer sites like SDC and Lifestyle Lounge. Okay. Those are like kind of what people would call a swinger site, where you go and you put up a profile. It's like going to a Match.com or a dating site, but it's for people who are in the lifestyle and they like to get together.
I want to talk about you being a very rare individual in the adult industry who made a major crossover. Now, let's talk about Paige McFarland for a second, okay?
Sure.
Okay. Now, Paige McFarland, your alter ego, was a competitive model and fitness competitor, right? Give me that part of your life. What was that all about?
Yeah. I've always been very active in fitness. I've, starting out, in high school, I was in cheerleading and always just stayed very active and healthy, and then got into, running marathons and triathlons, and it just progressed to, as far as modeling, I've always done modeling since I was like 17, like mainstream kind of, dabbled in modeling. So there's always been kind of like that modeling side of me. And then I got into I wanted to try a figure competition. So I started training for it. And I spent several years in that competitive world and also in that side of modeling. So
no drugs and
alcohol. Not everybody. No, that's no.
I mean, is it? I gotta look at the progressive steps here. Very free with your sexuality, married and very stable with beautiful children for a long time, very successful as a performer and as a crossover competitor. Amazing. By the way, that bink is from one of your fans who know we're having a conversation, wanting to ask a question. And it kind of leads into where I'm trying to go to. So in the future, what are you going to take over the world? And here's one of your fans saying, what's in store for Mason in the future?
Well, we are bringing foottees.com back because my foot fans have been very they've missed that side of it. We thought we could roll it all into Janet Exposed, but it just, the tried and true foot fetishists truly love the pure foot fight. So I'm bringing that back for my foot guys.
It's huge and it's growing. People are finding that because I don't want to get too analytical, but the bottom of the feet is kind of like the sensories of everything in your body. Certain people can, experts can massage the bottom of your foot and your lungs, clear up, or your gas goes away or whatever.
Reflexology.
Yeah. So, it's not too far-fetched to think that this is also a huge sexual center point for people as well down there on the Tootsies.
Absolutely. And I think that if you look at a woman's foot and if she takes care of them and has them, freshly pedicured or wears sexy shoes or stockings or foot jewelry,
no toe
that
jam.
lets you know that by the time you get to the top, she's taking care of everything. She just pays that much attention to detail.
Yeah, from the ground up.
And exactly. And on the same bent, people will say, "Ooh, foot fetishism, isn't that kind of weird?" I'm like, if you look at the sexiness of the foot in the fashion world, people
just
are
ask Jimmy
paying
Choo.
crazy amount. Go buy a pair of Jimmy Choo shoes and see how much people
I ain't gonna see no toe jam in that model's foot. Nope.
Exactly. So, no, I think, there are boob guys, there are butt guys, and there are foot and leg guys.
Yeah.
So, and I just happen to be one of those women who, and what's funny is I have very tiny feet. I wear a size 4.5 shoe.
Ooh, that is.
And that was one of the things, like we talked about my earliest sexuality and that kind of thing. What's funny is men have always commented on, "Oh, you have such tiny little feet." Well, before I understood maybe what that was, now that I look back, I'm like, oh, hey. They were checking my feet out way back then.
I got an off-the-wall question for you, okay? Let's say the job god comes down and he says, okay, listen, Janet, you can't do anything in the adult industry, no more foot stuff, none of that. Everything that you have been doing, learning, enjoying up until now in life is over. You cannot do that at all anymore. But you can pick anything else. I mean, you can be Queen of England, you can do anything else you want. what would that be? Anything.
Anything else that I want? God, I have such a good life.
Can't do it anymore. Got to pick something else.
Nah, can I be a lottery winner?
You can be anything you want. What would it be?
I'd be a multi-million-dollar lottery winner.
No one has ever answered it that way. That's unbelievable. My God, you're brilliant. Well, hey, let me ask you, any advice for those?
Everything, right?
Yeah, no one has ever, maybe a nurse, I've always liked books, so maybe a librarian, I look up a lot, so maybe an astronomer. No one's ever said I want to be a multi-million-dollar lottery winner.
I want to win the lottery.
I want to go to Disneyland. Okay.
Yeah, because there's so many places I want to see. I want to travel. Hedonistic to the core, so...
What do you want to see when you want to travel? Where do you want to go? What's number one on the bucket list?
Like Prague, Budapest.
Budapest?
Area.
Buddha or Pest? Yeah. Because they're different. No, don't kid. The Blue Danube separates them.
I know there's a big river that separates the two of them, so...
By the way, the Blue Danube is like gray and kind of like diphtheria looking. Yeah, it's not blue.
No, but the cities are beautiful. Gorgeous. So, yeah, I love that old history, and it intrigues me. Yeah. So I'm just.
How about the pyramids and the Sphinx? You want to go see that too?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, so you got wanderlust, huh?
Yeah, I would love to travel the world. I've done very little of traveling outside of the United States. I've only been to Moscow and St. Petersburg.
And St. Petersburg.
Yes. Amazing. And just truly fascinating places to visit.
All over the world. Yeah. Crazy places. So at least here or around, where are you living now? What state are you in?
I'm a Florida girl right now.
Okay. Because And what's your address there so people can come say hi tonight? You'll barbecue for them.
Right.
You're so playful. Any advice for people out there who kind of want to get into this industry? You made a good living at it, so your advice would probably hold a lot water than a lot of other people I've asked.
Well, we have been asked many, many times over the year, how do you guys do it? And the thing that we always tell people, if you're looking to start your own site, be true to yourself. Do what truly excites you and what you're truly passionate about, because people can see that.
And that'll attract the base.
Exactly. You attract the same type of people. And I tell you, my fans are just as loyal as they come. I've got fans that have been with me since 1998.
Wow.
So,
they're getting a little long in the tooth.
I don't get recognized very often. At least people are polite enough not to come up to me and say something. That's it. What's funny is
do you appear like, should write a book and do book signings, but I mean, you're not dancing or anything like that. Do you appear anywhere?
No. I've been doing some traveling, and I'm just to different cities now that the kids are up and out.
Yeah.
And when we do travel, we offer fan meetings or shoots, along the way.
I get it.
So that's how I meet people. And, like the foot night parties, I meet tons of guys. Usually when I do those.
Yeah.
So tons of foot fans.
Yeah, I want to get in on that. Come out here.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right. Well, they host a huge party out there in LA. That's one of the bigger parties. You need to get on the email list for them.
They don't let me out too often. So, last word, I'm going to give it to you. What's the philosophy of being happy and adjusted and successful? What's the word? How do you
be true to yourself and honesty. And, I've been married for, 20, 30 years now, and we have a very good, strong relationship, and it's because of our honesty in all things, as tough as it may be, that we live, we live a very good life together. And, I'm spoiled beyond, wealth in that.
Well, you deserve to be spoiled, believe me.
Thank
This
you.
has been MB for CED on the radio with Janet Mason. Janet, thank you so much for your time today.
And thank you so much for having me.
That's nice being had. Hi, boys and girls. I want to thank you all for listening to the show today. Don't forget to go visit 4hottv.com or 4hottv.mobi for all your adult handheld needs. Until next time, this is MB for CED on the Peeperz Radio Show saying, stay well, stay tuned, and stay hip.